Oh,
So we were
sorry, hold
saying,
on.
what?
Hunter Iggy, I can't hear you. Someone forgot to unmute us. So
Whoops.
Oh, you
let's
kidding?
start
This whole
again.
time. Oh boy.
What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Tonight, we're talking Skeleton Crew and Creature Commandos. Episode 3 is of both series because Thursday night we were at the theater for that cinematic masterpiece, Kraven the Hunter. But before we get into all of that fun, Dave, Doug, how's it going, gentlemen?
He dying fan freaking tastic, and I need to remember everything I just said. Last night, a friend of mine from a grade school friend of mine went to my show up in Saginaw, and I talked to him between sets. And the first thing I thought we were going to talk about music, but the first thing he said was, a couple of sentences about music. But then he was like, "I want to talk about your channel. You guys don't seem to like anything anymore." And I was like, "Well, we did love the Penguin. The Penguin was awesome." And he goes, "Well, yeah, but everything else." I said, "We don't hate it. It's just been kind of average stuff coming out." But if you're watching, that's his name, not just
Oh,
Jude.
not me. Excuse me. I'm supposed to be the only Doug in your life.
I'm sorry. Well, I didn't.
Feel betrayed.
I didn't
And
mean to hide this from you.
You tell this other Doug that I very much loved Madam Web. Okay, so I don't know where he's getting this idea that we dislike everything. This was the #1 comedy of the year.
Right. Well, and it's not that we hate everything. It's just everything's average. But we did talk about Craven that night, and he was like, "Well, yeah, I've heard terrible things." I'm like, it might be worth a watch. I'm not saying it's great, but I'd give it a 5. And I don't know if he realized what the Doug scale was. He might be thinking like originally when you got a Gilbert Gottfried?
Just so you know, someone just cashed in a Gilbert for 5 minutes. Yeah, and saying, hey, it exceeded our expectations. When you think it's gonna be absolute garbage, and it's just merely day-old garbage, doesn't make it any better.
Well, like I said, it's 5 times better than we expected, which is saying, well, since it's just that makes it average, which isn't saying much. So, I don't know. But I'm ready to talk these 2 shows. I enjoyed these 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew and Creature Commandos the best so far. The shows are getting better, so that's good. Let's talk about it in a minute. But first, Doug, how you doing?
Well, Dave, let me tell you, I am outstanding. I don't know where the weekend went though. Holy moly, I can't believe it is already Sunday night. Ready for our Sunday night stream. Man, time kind of flew by. But yeah, as you guys mentioned, we went and saw Craven Thursday night. I made sure to enlighten a couple of my family members and friends and let them know, exactly how it went. Like, not to go in and expect much, but it's essentially one of those where you shut your brain off, you watch the movie, and you get some fun out of it. And it is definitely, I think, as you put it, Dave, it's something that I wouldn't mind watching again. It was dumb fun. Not a good movie, but dumb fun.
Kind of like shoot 'em up.
Yeah, well, stab him up, I guess.
Yeah,
A little bit of shoot 'em up here and there.
Mhm.
But I want to talk about the 2 episodes that we got to watch this weekend. So without further ado, Keith, sir, how are you?
And since Sierra cashed in a Gilbert on Twitch, I'm freaking tremendous. I'm so happy. I wish I could rip into Craven tonight. Because for God's sakes, only one person was even acting in that movie, and that was Aaron Taylor Johnson. I don't know what the rest of those people were doing, but I was like, just keep him on the screen. Let him fight some people. That's all we needed. And that was really the best part. The action scenes. At least they were good action scenes, unlike that comedy Madam Web. But you're right. Let's stop talking about that shite from Thursday night and let's talk Skeleton Crew and Creature Commandos. Which one should we start with, gentlemen?
Do Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, might as well. Came out, what, Tuesday night?
It came out Tuesday night. That is correct.
I can't keep track of any of this stuff. It's like our one job. I don't know when this stuff airs.
I just watch it.
And it was a very long title. Very interesting as an astrogation problem. I'm like, why is the title so long and the episode so short? Maybe they can fix that later. Maybe next week the title will be one word and we'll get like 50 minutes.
Well, that has to be something. I didn't, keep track, but that has to be something that somebody had a line on the show. That has to be.
I thought it had something to do with the work that they do on Ad Astra, or whatever the hell the name of the world is they're from.
At.
At.
I don't know.
At.
Yeah, Ad. Yeah, that's it. Whatever. Who cares?
That's why they make the ads.
I did read that was that's where the name came from. They were just kind of poking fun at that idea.
Oh boy.
Dave just broke it down. Episode 8 is now ruined. We find out that's where they make ads.
Right. That's what all the money is.
Hoth is going to attack in episode 8. It's gonna be nuts.
Are there indigenous creatures on Hoth? I mean, besides that abominable, that Yeti.
What about the creature that Han cut open to put Luke in?
Oh, the Tauntaun?
Yeah.
And
Okay,
I
there's
thought
two,
it smelled
but they
bad
don't-
on the outside.
Yeah, they don't achieve space travel in my mind. So who's gonna attack from them?
The 5 minutes is up.
Oh, good.
This episode, to me, was a lot of exposition.
Fine.
We learned a lot. Wasn't too much action, but I was okay with it. I think they did something that I'm very happy about.
Okay.
They did not stretch the Crimson Jack / Jod mystery out too long. It wasn't something that we're not going to tell you yet. You guys want to know? Well, we're not telling you.
I didn't even know it was a mystery, though.
Well, it wasn't. And that's, they kind of like everyone knew it was the captain. There was no doubt about that. Everyone was
pretty
like,
obvious.
Well, does he really have Jedi powers? Is he a Jedi? And all that's kind of resolved. And I kind of liked it, move on to other things. We're at the point where kids are like, we don't really trust you. Well, two of the kids are like, we don't really trust you. Other two are like, he's a Jedi. We love him. So
are they gonna pull a move in episode 5, and he's gonna say, "You really didn't know who I was?" And it's like, no, we all knew, dude.
Right.
I think we have a short that says that. I knew when you picked up the soda machine and threw it through the wall.
But what was I gonna say? The Jude Law is doing a great job.
Yeah.
He never said, and the kids get on his case. They say, you lied to us or whatever, and he's like, I never said I was a Jedi. I thought that when they were saying that to him, I was like, he never claimed to be a Jedi. You guys just kind of put that mantle on him, and now you're telling him he's lying to you. So later in the show, he actually said that. So I was happy that they addressed that. These kids, to me, I know they're trying to show the Princess Leia type, in Fern, but it gets. I think they're getting, with me anyway. It's kind of getting to the point where it's like, all right, we know they're annoying little kids. They don't have to be annoying every minute, but they pretty much are.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I see a lot with Fern, especially. She is nervous and not sure of herself, so it comes out in a certain way. And don't get me wrong, I think we should, while the kids are annoying, the child actors are doing a good job. We're not saying
they're being kids,
right? And I think I like it that the kids, because kids can be annoying sometimes, especially when they're unsure of themselves and they're lost and things of that nature. So I kind of like how they're doing that they're kind of nervous and they're trying to seem more powerful or smarter than they are.
Yeah, they're trying to come off as more confident, more sure of like what's going on, even though they literally admit they have never seen other stars and planets before. They don't even know how to get back to their home world.
They didn't even know what they were. What are those lights in the sky?
My favorite.
That's my
What
question.
war?
What makes them so bold?
What war?
Yeah, what war? We'll get to that in a second. But what makes them so bold when they've never left their planet? You know, and they didn't know life existed off their planet. And now
That
they're
can
out
give
there
you
in
false.
space.
That can give you false confidence, thinking you know almost everything. I mean, even when they're now outside their planet, out of their comfort zone, it's like almost a defensive mechanism. Okay, I have to fake it till I make it, fake this confidence, so we survive and make it through these things. So, I mean,
How old are they? 10?
Well, like what, 11 or 12 or something?
Yeah, I don't know if I did that when I was at that age.
Oh, you didn't live on another planet with
Yeah, it's true. But,
best friend.
I didn't feel bold like that around adults.
yeah, I don't think you
especially
were.
one who could wield the force.
I don't think you grew up on a legendary planet that protected itself with a barrier, Dave.
Oh well, sorry.
Or did you?
Anybody else in the chat? We'd like to hear from you if you've seen the show.
Yeah. What are your guys' thoughts on Skeleton Crew? It does seem like they're going to make it back to Ad-Adin to see the AT-ATs being built next week.
That seems, pretty sure of that. One thing that I was a little curious about, the little owl character. Oh my gosh,
It's like
can't remember what her name was.
an owl cat hybrid.
Kahim or something?
Kimmy. Oh no, Kim. I have it typed in here. I've saved it.
I have
Good.
it typed in as KH.
Oh, it's just Kim. It's KHYMM. Yeah, KHYNMM. Kim.
Okay. For some reason, when she was first introduced, I thought for sure that it was going to be just a knockoff version of what's her name from Force Awakens. And I was going to be like, oh no, they're going to like inundate us with a bunch of mysteries that are never going to get solved. No, they didn't do that. So I do appreciate the fact that she served her purpose, kind of acted as a character who knows Jude Law's character from the past, knows not to trust him. And I love the fact that their police force is flying TIE fighters. That's hilarious.
No, X-Wings.
X-Wings, that's what I meant, yeah.
Do you think
what you meant, man.
Do you think they were Rangers of the New Republic?
No, I don't. Yeah, I think you're thinking too deep into it.
I feel like they were employed by her. They were her.
You think?
Yeah.
It's possible.
Because when they came back, they kind of reported to her, If I told you, you wouldn't believe me.
But it was interesting too, like with Kim, when they got there, she's like, don't trust Crimson Jack, all this stuff, it's bad. But then when she found out these kids say they're from Ad-Adin, it was like, oh, I'm not worried about Crimson Jack right now. This is interesting. This is a mystery of the universe, and you could tell she was a scholar and really wanted to get in and know more about it. And, let me pull some stuff up and do a few things. And then, of course, wait, you're stalling. Who's coming for us? Oh, grab the thing. Let's get out of here. But
Now, when they were departing from what you just said, and they were all getting on the ship, and that one girl stayed behind, and she said, if you ever need my help, you can call me anytime. And my genuine question was, how was she going to get a hold of her?
well, what you didn't see in a deleted scene that'll be coming on the 4K Blu-ray is she did give her
A phone?
Yeah.
My wireless plane won't cover Tatooine, so don't go there.
Gave them a Radio Shack phone. They're going to, wait a minute, I need a phone card for this.
I mean, it's the first time out in the universe.
I'm out of minutes.
They won't know how to navigate back to her.
Right.
How are they going to get?
Shoot, they don't even know how to get back home.
She was just
Right.
being polite, you guys. She didn't mean.
Oh, okay. All of a sudden, kid's gonna call her. Oh, how did you get my number?
Yeah.
Oh, you took that serious.
Huh.
Yikes.
Gosh, I'm working on me right now.
Actually, kind of busy. Check in
Um,
with me on Tuesday.
when they were escaping the planet, did you notice that the X-wings were shooting like stun blasts?
Yeah, they didn't want to hurt the children.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't know they could do that. I didn't know that was like a feature of X-wings.
You know, I didn't either. Weird. I thought you just could just shoot to kill and that was it.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe they installed those features after the war, after the Star Wars.
The
Wars
Great
in the
War.
Stars. None of those wars actually took place inside of stars. Did you know that? Yeah, misleading.
Thanks, man. Thanks for clearing that up. I was
Spoilers,
up
I
all
know.
night.
But no, I was kind of like I understood why they were doing it. Can't shoot down a ship that has kids in it. Obviously, I get that, but still, it was like I didn't know X-wings could shoot stun blasts. All right.
I
Well,
enjoyed the fact that Mim and like Fern were upset that Neil was going to get a fly until they were taken back to the little shooter bots, and then they were like, "Oh, sweet, okay,
Oh, this is even better.
Elephant Boy can fly all he wants."
Right.
I'm sitting in a blaster, and they do enough to make it feel like Star Wars, but not be like any other Star Wars. I think they've done, unlike The Force Awakens, who when you watch you're like, wow, this is very reminiscent of A New Hope. Too many things. This has certain things that make it Star Wars, but it's its own thing, and I'm enjoying that fact, and I'm enjoying the series probably more than I thought I was going to, because we did talk about this prior to it starting. How much of a kiddie show is this going to kind of be? Is it going to be really geared for kids, or is it going to be geared for kids but still have? And I think it's definitely the latter. It's geared for kids. Don't get me wrong, but they're doing a good job with at least making it interesting for adults too. At least in my opinion.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it's definitely proving. I think if they had like just the kids with the stars of the show and figuring it out without Jude Law, it'd be. I think that'd be terrible. I would hate it.
Yeah.
But I think he's really being the glue. He's really definitely the best actor on the show. He's really doing a great job. I think.
And Neil's voice actor. I mean,
Kimberly Jane asks, when is the next episode? Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what time zone you're in, but definitely we get a new episode on Tuesday, and we'll be back Thursday talking about the 4th episode, which we're all looking forward to watch. Did you, I'm assuming you're enjoying it, Kimberly, because you're definitely looking forward to the next episode, which I am too.
I don't know if this has changed lately, but I remember when people were talking about some of the other Star Wars shows, they would mention if you were outside of the US that they don't have Disney Plus. Is that still the case? I remember people talking about like, check it out on Hulu. Check it out on Disney Plus for the US, Hulu if you're not.
It may be. That's a good question. I don't know. I know, like, not to get off the subject, Creature Commandos isn't on Max everywhere. Because James Gunn was talking to people on Threads, and he's like, "Oh, if you're in Canada, it's on Adult Swim on like Cartoon Network or something."
Really?
Yeah.
Huh? No kidding.
So it can definitely be all over the place.
So I wonder if that's where it's like naturally airing. Like, is it on TV?
Yeah.
Airing? I wonder. Wow. No kidding. Okay. I did not know that.
They probably got to tamp it down a little bit.
Oh, a little bit, I'm sure. I don't think they get the full thing. You're right. But I mean, I think this episode was pretty straightforward, answered some questions, put some stuff out. I still think the big mystery is, what is the Great Works? What is it going on? Why is it
Yeah.
a legendary planet that has to be protected or something's being protected. And it has, well, I think it's been confirmed. It's something from the Old Republic. It's nothing
and
from
I don't think the adults are aware either, because we flashed back to them on Ed and they were all meeting, talking about how they need to find their kids, and they were worried, talking to the camera robots like, you've got to find them, where are they at? And I think they're just as much in the dark as the kids are. I don't think they know what's really going on outside of the planet either.
Probably.
I still think that father's just the basic character. They really didn't, even though he was a lot on the show a little more, he still did like basic things that you would expect your average father to do. There was no depth. Yeah. It's paper thin. Did you know, trivia, that I don't know if that was I don't know if she was one of the mothers, but one of the ladies there did the voice for Friday in the Avengers movies.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
The blonde lady.
Isn't that I thought Friday was voiced by Paul Bettany's wife, or is that Spider-Man?
Spider-Man was Jennifer Connelly.
Okay.
See? Yeah. So,
yeah,
no, I didn't know that, Dave. Thank you.
And you are right that they have not fleshed out the adults very much, but I do almost think that's on purpose, like, because this town, to me,
it's
like
not about it.
when the robots were like, oh, they're outside of our they left the planet, they're outside of our jurisdiction. Something is going on with the robots. I don't know if they had like some robotic takeover, like whoever is running that planet is possibly an android and not a human, or I don't know. I just got some weird vibes, because Doug, you even mentioned it last week how they have cameras on them, like that. Who's ever running
That's
it
what
is
they look
watching
like.
everything.
They look like security cameras.
Yeah. So I'm really starting to think whatever is going on Adin is robot run. It's android run, and I don't know if there was some android uprising on the planet earlier, and they kind of took over, and all of the humans are docile, and that's why almost the parents are that way. There's like no real emotion, no real range for any of them, and not just because they're not good actors, but because that's how they're supposed to be, possibly. That's what I'm hoping for.
That would be the best reveal. Even better, I think. I want to kind of tack off of your little theory palooza, because I love that. I think that's such a great idea. What if it wasn't so much an android, uprising, or a robot, revolution or something? What if it was just a computer malfunctioning? What if it was slated to complete the great work, but in all of its calculations, it couldn't figure out a way to do so, and just kind of created a barrier, cut off communications. Okay, we need to keep everybody stuck here until the great work is complete. Completely in the dark, keeping all the people in the dark about the fact that, the Republic has fallen, an empire rose. The empire fell. A new Republic. Everybody is completely in the dark because the android or whatever, the artificial intelligence, is like, running the great work project or something, had a hiccup. I think that would be the ultimate reveal. I would love it so much. And sorry for hitting my mic there.
You will be. That would be a great reveal. That's hilarious. But
they walk into this like old computer room, like just giant towering machines.
What are you doing here?
Complete.
Please leave. You are not authorized to be in this room. We're not going anywhere.
Like a 2001 Space Odyssey.
Right.
Now, do you know why it was called HAL?
Yes.
Because it was one letter off of IBM.
That's right. Yeah. Do you know why I knew that?
Did I tell you before?
No, I think he says it in the movie. But no, my dad worked at IBM, so that's how I acquired that knowledge.
I never knew that.
I saw that somewhere. It was like a reel or something, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so cool."
Yeah.
That makes so much sense now.
So we're getting HAL building Adins on Adin. So we solved it, people. No more mystery. But I do.
Yep.
I do think they're doing a good job, like I said earlier. You know, the whole Crimson Jack Jod thing, we're learning stuff. They're not trying to keep it some super mystery. But we still have the great works and what is really going on Ad-Adin. And I think, for me, that's what I kind of can't wait to see how it all plays out. And I hope it pulls a penguin and totally nails the landing. Because that would be fantastic.
Let's not off any children. Let's not totally pull the penguin.
Point. I just meant how well it ended. But yeah,
don't cut the elephant boy in half to save the season. Don't do it.
I just wanted to say something positive for Dave's friend who might be watching to say,
all of a sudden,
we do like
Jude Law's character is holding Neil. Sorry, kid, but this galaxy's just too rough for you.
you got,
holding his trunk on his neck and his arm.
You got brothers at home, right? Yeah.
There we go. Don't need to Ross the rest of the show, folks. We've got it all.
That's right.
Out.
We predicted it. We're 100% correct.
Now, you have to watch to see if we're right, but we are right.
Well, we'll watch it, yeah, just to confirm that all we said is right. Just to, give everybody the we told you so.
I'm sure we've got that one viewer that's going to be like, I take them at their word. I already know how it ends. They told me so.
Right, and
I
this could
believe
change.
If you watched our At the Theater review, we have 5 viewers.
You're right. I forgot about that. All 5 of you.
What are you on for a second? Yeah. Long weekend.
Yeah, indeed.
No, definitely. So we're kind of at the thing where I think they're going to arrive at Ad-Adin next week.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully a little more reveal of the mystery. I'm sure they're going to find that treasure room that we saw in the trailer. But I wonder how much that has to do with the great works or anything along, because we got 5 episodes left. So there's still a lot to be told. I mean, I'm sure we'll have a walkthrough of the AT-AT factory showing us every part of the assembly line, building it out. But there is a lot.
Wait, that guy's Andor. He's
We're going to see, what's his name from Andor? Kino? He'll be like, prepare the things. They're putting it in. That's the AT-AT foot. Now move on to level 5. That would be awesome if they had some sort of reference to Andor like that. But this is from the Old Republic. I need to. Mm-hmm. I meant to. If it wasn't so busy, I was going to look up and see if there was any, android revolutions or anything, because they did have in the Star Wars comics. There was a. Can't remember what the.
Did the one from Solo? Did that count?
Maybe.
I mean, that was kind of a minor revolution, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was one. But that was also post-Old Republic, so that would have been after AT-AT was hidden away. But there was... The Marvel Comics had the one... God, I can't remember what it's called, but it was like this almost sentient android was bringing all the androids into a hive mind and trying to take over, the Empire and everything else. Now I'm going to have to... I wonder if... And I think that droid was from the Old Republic. So I wonder if this is going to have ties.
I assume all of it is.
Yeah.
Didn't they have a droid attempt that in the Clone Wars? I think I remember something like that.
Oh, one of the battle droids?
Yeah, the ones that program all the other droids.
Oh, huh.
Yeah. It was like the main droid that sits up in the high center so you can see the whole battle, and he sends messages out. But I don't remember the name of that droid either. But I seem to remember something like that in the Clone Wars. Do you guys remember that?
I don't. But you're talking about the one, the like tactical droids.
Yeah, I can tell by doing that.
The square head, yeah.
Yes.
Because we did see a B-1 battle droid in this episode too, when Jod Crimson Jack went to rescue SM-23 or SM-33. Once again, nice little reference. They didn't overdo it.
See, the SM-33, it looked like, you know, but it hasn't been obvious, and I don't think droids, no, just do deception. But it looked like he knew who SM-33 was once he started talking to him, but SM-33 didn't let on that he knew who he was.
Well, and I wonder if being shut down for as long as he was, however long it was, seems like quite a long time being buried on Ad-Aden, that maybe he does it, his memory banks were flushed or something, because he doesn't remember going to Ad-Aden. You would think that if he was part of that crew, if they were actually trying to get there for the treasure or whatever when it ended up crashing, he would have remembered going there. But he seems oblivious to even showing up there. So I just wonder if it's a memory bank wipe. Like he was shut down for so long, like all the memory banks are wiped because it's not a hard drive in a galaxy far, far away. So when the power's off for too long, it's all gone. I don't know, but he doesn't know why.
Maybe that little rat that lives in his eyeball is messing with the wires.
I like how the kids are so concerned about the rat too. Like, oh, and don't forget about the rat that lives in his head.
Yeah.
Right.
And Neil was like petting it and feeding it at the table at one point.
Yeah.
So I see a plushie coming out on StarWars.com. Neil with his rat.
Right, Neil with rat petting action.
Look, you don't
Click the
even
tab in his back and watch him pet the rat.
Oh my God, that is so wrong.
All the members of the ship are dying of the plague.
Is it scurvy? No, it's the plague.
There's a rat aboard. Oh man, dark theory.
Uh-oh.
What if them being out in space? What if all of the people of Ad-Aden, they're not used to, certain illnesses or diseases, and these kids, which we already know, the kids are just walking germ factories. What if they picked up something while out there, bring it back to the planet, and just decimate the living creatures?
And then the robots.
Yeah,
are like,
I wouldn't
we
let him
won't.
back into orbit. I'd be like, no way, no re-entry.
I mean, how bad would it be if it was like a Fallout 3 situation, or, well, I guess not necessarily just Fallout 3, Fallout in general, where you return back to the vault and they're like, oh, actually, no, we can't let you back in. You've been outside too long. You'll corrupt everyone in here.
We don't want those germs and everything else coming back in.
Exactly, yeah. And they've done that in a couple of different Fallout series. Like, yeah, no, thanks for your help, but...
Yeah, no.
Where'd they go? What if they arrive back to Ad-Aden and like one of the security camera robots is like, oh, yeah, no, we're glad you're okay, but Tatooine has room. You could go live there.
And just want to say, Brogu said hello to everyone. So hello, thank you for joining us on YouTube. We appreciate it. Talking Skeleton Crew. If you have any thoughts on this week's episode, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're about to give our ratings for this episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would the
I can start.
I was going to say, would the Sony Spider-Verse hype man like to start?
Hey, you almost liked Craven as much as I did. Almost. So.
Pretty much. I mean, 0.5 off isn't much.
It's not much. But I'm still the one that's going to get roasted. So it's okay. That's okay. I'm like Meg on Family Guy. I will take it.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh, I
but
feel
this
bad.
No, it's okay. This episode is definitely the best one so far. I hope it continues on an upward trajectory. Like I said, Jude Law is really holding it together. I find the kids pretty annoying, but they're just being kids. But at some point, I'm just like, somebody, whenever they put a child on a show, they always seem to have to give them an attitude. And, I'm just like, okay, it's been done, but that's just me. So, all the other things going on, there are mysteries, and I'm not really looking at the mysteries yet. So I still want to see how a couple things develop, because they, like Keith said earlier, we got to the bottom of who he was really quick. So maybe next episode we don't end up back on Ed, and maybe we have like a flashback episode into his character or something, explaining Kim's relationship. Because I didn't expect them to get back to Ed and probably until the last episode. That was my guess. They were going to spend the rest of the time trying to find a way back. Well, who knows? But I don't know. I think I gave last week's or the first two episodes. I think I gave them a 5 or 6. I don't know. But yes, this week's episode was definitely worth a rewatch. You know, just because you like it, not because you're reviewing it for a channel or anything. But so I'm gonna go ahead and give this week's episode a 6.5. It's definitely moving upwards. I'm happy with it. Despite my complaint about the kids, I do enjoy the show. What do you think, Doug?
You know, I didn't enjoy this episode as much as you two gentlemen. It was fine. I was cool with the little bit of additional information. I'm glad that they let us know, like, you know, they basically told us what Keith had mentioned last week when we did a review of the initial episodes. And like I was kind of in denial at first. I'm like, no, there's no way that they're stuck in the older Republic that far back. And like I'm sitting there like, no, that can't be. And then when they uttered that line, you know, that oh well, you guys don't realize an entire war happened. What war? When that, you know, like,
what about
and everything is
Alderaan?
just kind of oh god, yeah.
Did you miss the war?
That's right. The mention. Oh no. Oh, those poor kids. Oh, they've got a lot of catching up to do. Maybe that's something that they can do on their ride back to AT-AT, is like watch some history discs or something and be like, oh no.
So this Luke Skywalker was a terrorist who blew up a space station?
He killed so many people.
They said that he was on some mission just trying to steal power converters. I don't know. Luke Skywalker, the greatest pirate of all. No, it was a fine episode. You know, it was a little bit of got us some information, gave us a little bit of a chase. I kind of have to be like Dave. I have to kind of like hand wave the way the kids are, just because they're kids being kids. It's just, you know, I've come to accept that. So I'm not really gonna judge the episode based on how they are, just because that's such a norm. Exactly as you put it, Dave. It seems like if you're gonna have a kid actor, they've got to act precocious. So I try not to judge it on that, but you know, to me, this isn't an episode that I wanted to run back and rewatch again. It just didn't grab my attention the same way. It was fine, you know, it wasn't bad. So I'm going to give this a 5.5.
See, I'm definitely much more sided with Dave on this one. I did enjoy this episode. I think it flew by. And while the kids are annoying, I mean, the kids are acting different. Like, the girls, KB and Fern, are very kind of full of themselves, almost like they're that false bravado almost. But Wim and Neil are like, oh my god, this is so awesome. He's a Jedi. We should do what he says. I mean, it's like the kids are different enough. They're like, you can tell they were friends on a planet, because they're both very similar to each other in opposite ways. So, you know, we get the two kids who are kind of like, yeah, I don't trust anybody. I don't trust you. We can do this ourselves. And the other kids are like, this is the greatest adventure of all time. And yes, they are a bit annoying at times, but like any kid, you know, they can get under your skin. But I've enjoyed the pacing of this. I've enjoyed the subtle references to Star Wars without it being too overbearing. It's its own story. It's interesting. Like Dave said, Jude Law is just phenomenal in this. He really is just a tremendous actor, and he's not just phoning it in to, you know, for a Disney Plus series. He's really doing a good job.
Oh yeah.
And even getting to that, you know, the planet with the owl cat, and, you know, her calling the cops and not trusting Crimson Jack. It's just all, you know, it feels like Star Wars to me. It feels like just good fun. A lot like the movies were when I saw them back then. You know, it's nothing, you know, mind-blowing or crazy or anything like that, but it's good entertainment. And I'm going to give this a 7. It's good. And I'm hoping, much like Dave, it keeps, you know, amping up, because it's exceeded expectations. because I was like, okay, this might be, it should be okay, and it's done a little better than okay, so I'm happy with that.
Very nice, gentlemen.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad by any means.
Nope,
It's
you
certainly
did.
not
You
as
said you
bad
hated
as,
it, and you hate anyone who likes it.
It's certainly not as bad as the Star Wars show that shall not be named.
Oh God.
Oh boy.
There's still people like, it's almost like the Snyder people. They're like, renew the Acolyte. No, please don't.
I think they're just trying to convince themselves. It's like, okay, I can understand wanting to not join the side of the screaming masses, saying that they don't like it because it had women in it or something like that, or whatever other nonsense excuse they have. We, and not just at school, we don't judge shows based on like who the actor happens to be or anything like that. We're very much based on what is the plot, is it any good, was it shot well, how is the music. Like, we're very much, when we're judging these, we're judging them for what is inside the show, what makes up the show, not who's acting in it so much. I mean, their acting skill, yeah, that's taken into account, but who they are as a person,
Yeah, I mean, look at
a little less important.
What's that? John Cena. What's that? Peacemaker.
Oh,
Look
yeah,
at Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
Keith didn't like John Cena before the show. He saw the show. He's like, hey, did a good job.
I have never enjoyed anything John Cena did until the Suicide Squad. And
Right.
I was hesitant about Peacemaker, even though James Gunn was writing it. I'm like, God, is this a good choice? And that show was just fabulous. That was so entertaining. I mean, him arguing with his neighbor over Batman.
Oh, that was hilarious.
And it was funny because
that-
the Suicide Squad was on like TV yesterday.
Yeah.
And wife and daughter were out shopping on the thing, and Sully was playing his thing, and I turned it on, and I'm like, God, I forgot how much I enjoyed this movie. God, it's
It is a
entertaining.
good movie.
yeah, some people just like, they're good. That's their like life role or whatever. Peacemaker would be a good role for John Cena.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's certain actors that they become the character that they're playing. Like I would struggle to imagine anybody else right now playing Iron Man other than Robert Downey Jr.
Or Deadpool.
You mean Doctor Doom?
Sure.
All right, gentlemen. Should we talk Creature Commandos?
I think we should.
And this episode was aptly titled Cheers to the Tin Man. I do think a lot of people are already going to be extremely upset, probably never wanting to watch. The DCU is dead to them because the best character is now dead.
He's a robot. I'm sure they could put him back together somehow. I thought that fish girl was dead at the end of the last episode. I can't remember her name. But she's alive. We don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So that was unusual. When the fact that we opened this episode with both of those characters alive, like they were restrained, but Cersei didn't kill either of them.
Well, yeah,
Right, they
because
explained that in the show.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they wanted to trick him into coming to save him so they could attack the.
Here we go, jumping to the end again.
Yeah, we always do. But I mean,
That's
I was pretty excited at the beginning because we saw Easy Company.
Mm-hmm.
And Sergeant Rock and Easy Company was always one of those kind of fringy DC comics where they kind of did World War II stuff and did stuff. That was really nice because there's been a lot of rumors that there's going to be a Sergeant Rock movie in the DCU. And of course, nothing's been confirmed because, like James Gunn always says, until there's a script, we're not greenlighting anything. But it sounds like someone is working on a script for a Sergeant Rock movie, which after this, hopefully G.I. Robot could take part in it a little bit because he was an absolute delight. Sean Gunn,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
he gets a lot of crap online that he gets these roles only because he's James Gunn's brother. But man, It's just not true. He is a solid actor and a good voice actor. I mean, between Weasel and G.I. Robot, he is worth everything they're paying him, in my opinion.
And those two characters on this show were the best part of this show. Weasel when he was tearing apart Cersei.
Yeah, great.
And he was merciless. It was just like, you know. I was like, that's great.
Oh, and not near mint says G.I. Robot died in weird war tales, but comes back good as new. And the fact that Dr. Magnus, Will Magnus, the inventor of the Metal Men in the DC, universe, was studying him also. So there's definitely a good chance, he could come back because he's a robot, and there's geniuses all over the DCU who could rebuild him. I think
the difficult part will be, like, are they going to choose to bring him back completely with all those memories intact, or is it going to be like, I'm G.I. Robot version 3, and I'm ready to hunt Nazis?
Well, what's the line he said when he found out Sam was part of a neo-Nazi group?
Get ready to die, Nazis.
He said, "Oh boy."
Yeah, get ready to die, Nazis.
It was under his breath, and I know that there was some argument online. Did he say that out of excitement, or did he say it because he just found out that his new friend is a white supremacist?
I think it was because he found out his new friend was a Nazi and he had to kill him. Like, he could almost understand, I do have to kill him because it's my programming. Man, I kind of like this guy. I hung out with his cats, and he brought me into his home and gave me gasoline.
At the same time, he didn't hesitate.
Not even a moment.
I know. Oh my
Boom!
God.
I was kind of near to hear that scene. That cracked me up.
So good. It was so amazing. Just watching him. Like, I know you shouldn't like praise wanton violence, but I mean, it was so wonderful. It was so hilarious the way that he's just mowing down all these people. It felt very much in line with, like I said in the previous 2 episodes, I recognize some similar humor elements that we could find in Harley Quinn. Like, I could see G.I. Robot fitting very well into that world.
Yeah. I was kind of feeling like, is this supposed to have the same kind of spacing as Harley Quinn or pacing? I mean, because it's damn funny this week.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny. It was good.
Yes.
It had good action. The gore was awesome.
And they've done a good job so far of making you care about these characters.
Yeah, he's good at that.
We kind of knew that would be the case, but yeah, you're right. I mean, the way all the backstory episodes have let us down. Okay, you know what, this character, I understand it a bit more. I know what's going on, and we're getting Weasel next week.
That should be interesting.
That is. It was only 8 kids, and
Oh, you mean he ate kids?
No, but it does look like he's falsely accused. If you saw the preview for the next episode, it looks like he was protecting the kids when something else was going on, and they accused him of trying to kill the kids. So, I kind of, as much as I laughed at like the line in the Suicide Squad, where like, yeah, he killed 27 kids. You're like, ooh, it was almost like he's my brother. He killed 47 people. He's adopted.
Yeah.
It was almost like that.
Right,
so,
yeah.
But once again, it's good writing when, everyone believes something and they're saying it. Then you actually learn the backstory, and it's quite different. And you almost, a little more sympathetic for Weasel. Except I wouldn't want to be on his bad side after we saw how he ripped apart Cersei. For those of you, I saw some discourse online. They're like, she could teleport and do all this stuff. If anyone has played D&D and has played a wizard or a sorcerer or everything, you need to be able to cast your spell to get it off. When you're being attacked by a ferocious animal, you don't have the time to do the hand incantations and do the spell. So that's why Weasel was able to take her down like that. And then, of course, Phosphorus just burning like his handprint in her face. I'm like,
oh, yeah.
God.
Him fighting too was hilarious. Shish kebab, just going right through people.
Of course, Alan.
That's one thing that, and I know that I said this in our last review, but that's one thing that I don't think they fully understand Phosphorus's character. seem to confuse him for somebody that just has basic fire powers, not bleeding radiation.
Yeah. By the way, Not Near Mint has a question. What happened to Sam's cats?
Oh,
Much like
Good
Sabine's loft cat, I think.
it's on its own.
Yep, they're fending for themselves at this point. But getting back to earlier in the episode too, as soon as they showed Will Magnus, Dr. Magnus, I was like, oh my God, are we gonna get a Metal Man series of any type? Because I know James Gunn has said in the past, growing up, Metal Men were one of his favorites. And I'm all for it. If they do that, I'm going to be a happy person, well, as long as it's done right. But it seemed like they're at least building it to where they could be introduced, and we would already have a little background for it.
He seems to love the fringe comic book characters that not many people have either heard of or remember or anything like that.
That's what I was about to say. I agree with that. Yeah, he likes the lesser known characters because I think it's because he can do more with them. Nobody knows people, and he can kind of reinvent them and keep the good stuff and throw out the bad stuff. And he has the freedom. But with Superman, him writing that'll be interesting because Superman has these certain abilities that everybody knows. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do with that. Maybe that's why he's got the other characters in it.
Back during the DC fandom in 2020, when we first got the reveal of all the different characters that were going to be in the Suicide Squad, I remember looking at the list. I'm like, I don't know who half of these people are. Arm fall off guy? Who or what is that? I had to look it up, find the comics. I'm like, yeah, that's James Gunn. Of course, he would pick like the most random, dumb characters.
Polka Dot Man. Yeah,
Polka Dot Man. And like, I'd never heard of Peacemaker either.
Yeah, you know what? He was in some Suicide comics like back in the late 80s. And I don't remember anything after that. Like, nothing I read from DC he was in. Because he was in the Janus directive for a little bit. He wasn't a major player, but he was kind of in it. And I think, obviously, with James Gunn bringing him back, he now has his own comic and all that other stuff, which is all good. So,
yeah.
As long as
he's like shining the light on all these... So it's not always Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. It's finally we're getting like the spotlight on some of these other characters. Tell some new stories that people haven't read for once, or in this case, watched.
Oh my God, that's true. Not Near Mint said the animal, vegetable, mineral man was in the jail sequence with Shaggy Man.
Yes.
He cuts deep. I loved it because animal, vegetable, mineral man was in Doom Patrol, and he's a big Doom Patrol villain. So, we hinted at, Easy Company wasn't hinted at, but we were shown Sergeant Rock and Easy Company. Obviously, hints to the Metal Men, hints to Doom Patrol. It's laying the groundwork to do, very much like a good show should. If you're building a universe out, lay those little breadcrumbs out. If nothing ever happens, and we never see Doom Patrol in the DCU, and, animal, vegetable, mineral guy never plays out or anything, that's fine. But if it does play out, we've seen hints to it. If the Metal Men series, if there's never a Metal Men series or, movie, at least they were hinted to and they could come back to it. So, I feel like this being the first entry in the DCU, even though, we know that they're going to reference to other things that have happened and it's going to be canon once they talk about it, they're doing a great job. It's a great story. They're introducing these characters. We're getting backstory. We're hinting to other parts. I mean, we've seen, all of the characters looking like they are in major trouble if Circe loses, and we know we'll see it again next week. We saw, Mr. Terrific, Superman, Starfire. So we're seeing Teen Titans, Justice League members. We saw Wonder Woman in the preview for next week. So definitely a lot going on, and it's cool.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But are you guys ready for a little tangent time before I forget?
Oh, sure.
Speaking of James Gunn's Superman, so there is a press conference tomorrow, and they're going to get a preview of the Superman trailer. And then
really?
Word on the street is that the trailer will be released Thursday for all of us to enjoy.
Well,
So if that is the case, mark your calendars down because we'll be talking about Skeleton Crew and the Superman trailer on Thursday night. Which
So
will be
they got a preview of the preview.
well, I think the press is going to see the trailer and they're going to talk about it and have some stuff, so they can do their little build hype for it a little bit, and then
Well, hopefully not Ryan Airy, because that guy, he's just so negative lately.
is he? I haven't even seen him lately.
Oh yeah, one of the reasons he didn't like Craven was that because it was Aaron Taylor Johnson, and not some 40-year-old dude with a beard.
that's kind of a dumb reason to not like it.
He's an actor.
Yeah, I think. Well, this is early in his life. He's in his 20s.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, come on.
yeah. That's
He's losing my respect.
so. Let's get back to Creature Commandos.
We both just smile.
But I did like that they got out there and, oh my God, they're attacked. Rick Flag Sr. figures out, oh my gosh, we just got played, you guys. We rushed off without thinking this through, and oh my God. And seeing G.I. Robot carrying Nina in the bathtub to get her back.
In the bathtub.
He's like,
yeah, just
Yeah.
throws her in the back just to get back. And, Rick Flag's like, speed, come on, we got to go faster. And seeing the upgrade to G.I. Robot when he just kind of, instead of stretching his leg, he just kind of has these hover things, and he's like, are these Nazis? Oh, these are Nazis.
they sure are, buddy.
And man,
Yeah.
seeing those bros getting mowed down by
Yeah.
G.I. Robot, I paused it, rewound it, watched it again. It was just like, it's just.
I was screaming for joy in my living room. It was like the best thing I'd ever seen.
You know what was really cool too, and that the queen, right? She's not a princess; she's a queen.
No, she's a princess. I think
Yeah,
because
the queen is still alive.
Yeah.
Okay, she got out that gun and shot the guy. And he was like, "Oh," and then she shot the other guy right in the heart. And he was like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "That's animated, but I can see that being in a James Gunn live action movie.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing."
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I could definitely say that too.
Did we lose Keith?
No, it's just
he's here.
not near mint. Just said G.I. Robot becomes the god of death for the best minute of his life. Yes, he did. A Shinigami mowing down Nazis.
Yes. And it was all he wanted, really. He just wanted to kill Nazis with his friends.
Again, because we had it was great, hearing them, back Sergeant Rock and Easy Company, like, cheers to the Tin Man, and that like stuck with him. To him, that meant, hey, you did a great job, everything's great. And he's like, cheers to the Tin Man. And we're like, yeah, I guess, sure. And he's just like,
yay!
I did good.
I mean, on that talk show, that was pretty damn funny. Are these people Nazis? Have you checked their papers?
Right.
No, we didn't. That sounds like something a Nazi would say.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like back
It's
it
like,
up.
okay.
I love when the doctor is studying him and he's trying to find out, like, is this sentient? Like, can he think for himself? Well, no, not your directive. What do you want? I'd very much like to be with my friend Sergeant Rock again and kill Nazis. It's like, okay. What track mine, dude?
Well, that is what he was programmed for.
Right. Oh, and I love him for it.
Oh yeah.
I
If
think
anybody's offended by that show, then you gotta question them.
You better start asking yourself, why are you offended by that?
Yes, because that was amazing.
I'm sure there are people that are offended by it, like Nazis, and
Yeah. There should be less of them than there actually are.
Right?
with G.I. Robot on the job, there definitely is less of them.
Oh, yeah. Huh. So, next Not Your Status Quo project, build a real live-action G.I. robot. Okay.
Reading
Oh my God! Not near mint said I hope this series makes my Star Spangled War Stories 101 first GI robot go up in price. Key collector has only the Creature Commandos first. I hope it does too. That's a good issue to have. So, everyone, make sure you start searching out, Star Spangled War Stories 101. Drive up the price a little bit for our friend Not Near Mint. We would appreciate it. I'm trying to think. We already talked about Weasel and Phosphorus kind of stopping Cersei, and now.
Well, we didn't mention what she said. At the end there when she finally got up off the ground.
Yeah, you guys have doomed the world. Kind of heavy.
As soon as she said that, I'm texting Keith. I'm like, dude, you were right. You called it.
It's going to be interesting to see what it is and why her taking over that country was going to stop it in what way. But we know that, Amanda Waller is interviewing her, and she kind of gets a good understanding of it next episode. So it'll be good to see exactly what's going on and why. And she may even be recruited to help. They may be like, you know what? You just joined Task Force M.
That would track because remember in Peacemaker, Myrn, we all thought, and we find out he's a butterfly, but he's on our side. So maybe that tracks.
Yep. But now it got me. I'm like, okay, who's the big bad now of this first season? Because obviously Cersei has been stopped in episode 3, and maybe joining, the Creature Commandos. So what's next?
My theory, for what it's worth, I think it's the princess.
She's the bad guy?
I think she is. And Dave, you had mentioned something earlier when you had asked, is she the princess or is she the queen?
Right.
And that's why I think she might be the bad guy. I think she did something to the queen, which is allowing her to now take power. And I think she was because now I'm also thinking back to Rick Flag Sr. I think she was seducing him to make sure that she had him on her side. But I think there's something going on. Either she's secretly a dictator. I don't know what the deal is. But once again, we're going to have to deal with Amanda Waller wants them to protect her because the U.S. has relations with their country for the oil. So that's what Amanda Waller is looking at. But I think the Monster Squad, I think they're going to have to determine, do we do what Amanda Waller says because that's the mission, or do we allow our morals to, be front and center, and do we stop this psycho dictator princess and then lose out on any potential oil that the U.S. might get out of it? That's what I think. But hey, that's just a theory.
Hey!
A nerd theory.
Well, Not Near Mint says her father is probably Dracula. And Dracula later becomes a Creature Commando. There's also Dr. Medusa to introduce too. Yeah, they still have, they can be killing off some of these characters and still introduce new ones down the line. But it's funny to say that, Doug, because rewatching the Suicide Squad when it was on, remember at the end, Amanda Waller was like, they're no longer allies of the U.S. Get out. This is a good thing that this giant starfish is destroying the country.
Right.
And they're like,
exactly.
Yeah, we're staying. We're not, get back on mission. Blood sport.
Oh, you're breaking up. I can't quite hear you.
Anytime you get these characters to want them to do something against your will with threats of, electricity, ravaging their bodies. If you don't do what they say, they're gonna rebel a bit. We saw Dr. Phosphorus do it against Rick Flag Sr. in the first episode. So, there definitely could be some more of that. If we do find out, which that's a great theory, Doug. I like that. The princess being the real threat.
I think that's what it's going to turn out to be, because that seems to be... They did something very similar in the original Suicide Squad, and they did it in the Suicide Squad, where Amanda Waller is telling them to do one thing, and the rest of them are like, yeah, no, we've got to do this instead.
Maybe she'll be the Enchantress.
Oh God. Please no.
Played by Cara Delevingne, Devine,
Something like that.
Sure.
Cara D.
Certainly a name.
Big D. I'm reading the comment. I can't read it very well.
It says, after Weird War Tales canceled Creature Commandos feature, J.M. DeMatteis jettisons the team into space. We don't see them again until Action Comics 872 by Jeff Johns in 2009. So Not Near Mint is essentially telling us what happened to the Creature Commandos in the comics.
Yeah. And I know JD or JM DeMatteis gets a big thank you on the episodes, and James Gunn even like tagged him on Threads saying,
Nice.
we owe a lot of this to you, and it's always nice when these shows and stuff give praise to the creators from the comics. That's always a nice thing. You know what? I've never read Action Comics where they came back. I should probably find that on my DC Universe Infinite or whatever it's called, and maybe read that one.
I certainly do have some room in my comic book rack. I wouldn't mind adding a few additional. Speaking of comics, do you want to move to Tangent Time just for a brief minute?
Of course, sir.
Why, you want to grab the omnibus?
Tiny Tangent Time. So
there are no tiny tangent times.
I went and got my hair cut on Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day it was, and figure, well, I'll stop by into the comic book store. So it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday because I wanted to get a cut before we went to the theater for a review. So went to the comic book store and I'm looking at the rack to see what's new, and the Darth Vader series has ended, so there's none of those left to pick up. So just what else is out there, what I want to start reading now. And gentlemen, you were going to be so excited to find out about this if you did not already know. I picked up the first issue of the Rebel Moon tie-in comic series.
Oh,
what?
Dear God, dude.
The first issue, meaning there will be more.
What are you doing? You got a fever? What the hell?
I saw it and I had to. And then just the icing on the cake, I told the guy when I was checking, I'm like, oh, and by the way, can I get a bag and board for that? And he looks at me and goes, seriously?
Did you read it yet?
No, I didn't read it yet.
I want to see it.
I was curious who wrote it.
Oh, God. I don't know, but I doubt I'd be able to follow it because I could barely follow the movie.
True. Well, if there was a better writer.
The original cut of the movie. I haven't even watched the director's cut yet.
Oh, Not Near Mint says Action 872 is dollar bin material. Easy to find. Well, I've got the DC Digital Comics app, so hopefully I can find it there. And then find it in the dollar bin if I like it, and save it forever and ever.
Did you hear Doug there? He said he hasn't watched the director's cut yet.
What?
He said yet. Does that mean you're planning on doing it?
I might. Who knows? We tell you what, if we get a couple more subscribers, get us over that slump, maybe I'll do it, and I'll give you guys all a breakdown.
All right.
That'll be our highest rated video. Doug watches the director's cut of Rebel Moon. Watch him rant.
Oh boy. Oh, I filled up several pages of a notebook for the Netflix cut. I don't know, whatever, the non-director's cut, whatever you want to call it.
The original version, or
the original version. So dumb. Like they knew what they were doing. It's all a marketing ploy.
Yep. Oh yeah. Hey, you know what we should do?
Okay.
Let's do a one, and then we'll do a director's cut, because that was huge for my Justice League.
Because the Snyder cut will trend again. God.
Oh, Not Near Mint said the entire Rebel Moon series feels like a very long trailer for a better movie that we still haven't seen yet.
And you never will see either.
You're not wrong, because couldn't remember anyone's name, because you never know anyone's name from a trailer.
Didn't they discontinue the series anyway, too? They're done, right? There's no more?
Like Zack Snyder has moved on to, I forget what he's doing next. But yeah, I don't think Netflix has any interest in paying out that much money for movies that don't get the type of...
It's pretty sad that even his rabid fans weren't jumping to defend it. Like, even they know, this is a bad movie, bro. Look, we wanted you to keep doing your DC stuff, but this ain't it.
Can you do another Justice League, Zach? Oh no, I moved on to something even better. I'm gonna do Land of the Lost. There's gonna be dinosaurs and stuff, and it's gonna be the original Land of the Lost creator wouldn't let me do it, so I'm gonna write my own Land of the Lost series, and it's gonna
have hookers and blow. It's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be the terrain of the unfound. It's gonna be so cool.
Terrain of the unfound. Jordan Bloodaxe. Really?
This is funny. Not Near Man says, "Oh, it's a director's cut. That's just a longer, bloodier trailer."
And one of the robots had boobs. So,
that's right. That's right.
Very important.
Very important. Very important.
He knows his audience.
Does he?
Robots?
Nobody watched it.
A few people did.
He knows all 7 people personally.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, let's finish up.
100?
You want to finish?
I did it.
Let's finish up. Cheers to the Tin Man. Because I like Doug's theory that the princess is going to be the danger that they have now saved and probably brought about the end of the world. The DCU is over. We can start our next DC. Oh, wait, no, they're probably going to stop it. But
Or we're going to just flashpoint out of this real quick.
And I definitely am interested to see what happens with Cersei if she joins the task force in some way to try to help. Because, the actress playing her, I forget her name now, from The Witcher, who played Yennefer. She got, some billing on that second trailer, so it sounds like she could be in more. And there's rumors that she's going to show up in a Superman movie. Which obviously could just be rumors, but, she could play a major part in...
Watch, she'll show up in, like, a live-action Creature Commandos thing, like on some TV screen. The news is talking about it,
And that's it.
and that's it. Yeah, it's just happening in the background. And Clark is like, "Oh man, I really wanted to go on write about that." And Lois gets to go instead.
So I got to write about cats and dogs.
We're going to talk about the Smallville football team. They won like 8 games this year. I'm going to go write about it.
I covered the dog fair where they were adopting dogs the other day. It's hard-hitting journalism right there.
Hard-hitting journalism.
That is some hard-hitting journalism. That's Pulitzer. But hey, should we rate this episode of Creature Commandos, gentlemen?
Yes.
I will go first as to follow tradition. The first show, was this a third show already?
Yeah, this is the third one.
God.
We had 2 third episodes.
Yeah. And I agree with this one. As the same thing I said with the Skeleton Crew, is that its trajectory is upward. This was definitely a better episode than last week. One of the best lines I thought in this show was when they pulled the tape off of the bride's mouth. And he said, "Hey, I thought we were looking for leaders, not damsels in distress." I was like, "Oh, okay. This is, is she gonna make it? Well, or is she gonna get more serious?" That's just kind of fun. That was a good line, I thought. I liked the GI robot story so much, and he's just no nonsense. If you're a Nazi, he's gonna kill you, and he made it funny. It was gory. Even his best friend, he didn't hesitate, and he protects his friends. and just that's good. I can't wait for next week. I wonder how much talking there's going to be on this weasel story. I mean, did he originate as a human or something? I can't see there being much talking, and it'll still be highly entertaining. So it's definitely moving upward. I don't know what I gave it last week, but this week I'm going to give it a 7. I think I would definitely watch this again. I might even watch it when we're done here. It was a good show. What do you think, Doug?
I was actually thinking the same thing. I was sitting there thinking, like, you know what? When we're done, I might go back and rewatch that episode because I loved it. I thought it was fan-freaking-tastic.
Yeah, that's my line.
No, I was really, really enjoying it. I squealed multiple times just out of pure joy, out of everything. Like you, I loved G.I. Robot's backstory. Loved learning more about him. Love the fact that he's got such a one-track mind, but you still see, in the background there when he utters certain words, like just the looks on his face when he squints his eyes, when he opens his mouth into a wide smile. Like, you can tell there's emotion behind what he's doing, what he's thinking, and I do love that. I love the fact that there is like more character development, more world building going on here. We're learning more about like what's going on, and boy, it got the theory juices working in my head as I'm thinking, oh, okay, this is deeper than just Cersei's on a rampage with her stupid bro squad that are
the sons of Themyscira.
Right. It's so dumb, but yeah, there's clearly more going on that we are unaware of. Of course, Amanda Waller, the spy of spies, and she's of course not going to be truthful about everything because why would she? She doesn't have to be. So, I enjoyed this so much. Probably one of my favorite episodes so far. I got to give this an 8.5 out of 10. Just excellent TV.
Yeah, much like Doug. I mean, I thoroughly, from the moment I started this, and I had to go into work. We had a busy week at work, all the stuff going on. And when I finally was able to sit down and watch it, it was like starting out with Easy Company. I was like, oh, that is so great. I'm so Sergeant Rock, that's fantastic. Then we get into Dr. Magnus. So I'm like, oh my God, they're hinting at the Metal Men, what's to come. And just, we forgot to mention Michael Rooker, was Sam. Totally out of type for, him. So well done. So much fun. So great. Everything about this episode made me smile, laugh, turn my head in disgust, in a good way. But,
right.
I mean, even the music, all the music being played when it was, oh my God, what was that song? It was like, dang it. I was meant to write it down and I never did. But it was like a dollar store or it doesn't matter.
Oh, the coin-operated boyfriend or whatever.
Yes, coin-operated, yes. So well placed.
Perfect song. So good.
And, I mean, everything about it was great. And I am sometimes a little bit worried that it doesn't, peak here. I hope it keeps going up. But, man, this episode was so good, I worry about it. How they're going to, make an episode about Weasel interesting and how they're going to carry the rest of the season. But I shouldn't worry because I think it's all part of the plan. And I'm going to give this an 8.2. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I will definitely watch it again before episode 4 drops on Thursday because it was a joy to watch. And, I was worried earlier about too many similarities to, Guardians and the Suicide Squad and other things. But I think this episode definitely broke the mold and just went in a direction that I was extremely happy with. And let's hope the quality continues. I hope we don't have any coming down. Just upward trajectory, as Dave put it.
Hopefully, yes.
Right. And Doug asked if Not Near Mint had a rating. So if anyone out in the chat, Twitch, YouTube, if you guys want to tell us what you guys thought of either Creature Commandos or Skeleton Crew, please do. And we will be back on Thursday talking Skeleton Crew, and then next Sunday talking Creature Commandos. And hopefully we'll be talking the Superman trailer on Thursday too. Even though with the way WB is, we may not be able to show you any footage. But
Yeah.
we can still talk about it. Much like Sony, hopefully. By the way, did you guys? We'll go into a little tangent time. Did you guys see, like, what Craven made this weekend?
No, box office, what, 40 million? I'm guessing.
Somebody said like 11 million.
11 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of my cousins mentioned that today. I was like, oh yeah, that tracks.
And you know, when I see all these other channels, like I mentioned Screen Crush earlier, just hating on it. And I'm like, it seems like if it's not a perfect movie, they just bash the crap out of it.
Well, and sometimes too,
You know?
it's almost like mob mentality. People start not liking it, so I'm gonna hate it too. And I think all of us expected.
Too.
Yeah, I expected going in there, expected to really hate that movie.
Yeah, but we're also honest.
Exactly.
Not to toot my own horn, but I mean, we're not jumping onto the bandwagon and just because everybody. Yeah. I fully admit when we went in, we did not think it was going to be good, but I mean, look at the track record. So I think that was a fair assumption to make. But once we got out, we had to admit, not as bad as it could have been.
Yep. So it was a pleasant surprise, like Dave said.
It could have been Venom 3.
5. Oh my God.
The unwatchable mess that was.
I forgot about that movie.
So bad.
Oh, Dave's gone.
Whoops.
Fix that up. Oh, Dave's back.
Oh, and Dave's back.
We'll fix that back up. You having some interweb issues there, sir?
Yeah, I guess I am. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
It happens.
I thought we said something offensive and you just got out of here.
No, but I didn't. Both times I crashed out, I didn't get to hear your guys' ratings.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I think Doug gave it an 8.5 and I gave it an 8.2.
Yeah.
So I was on the low end. But that's me.
Hey, you know what? That's why we have
I was on the
three
low
on the
end for
channel.
Pelican group.
Yeah, and if we don't get if people aren't on to comment right now, don't be afraid to comment in our comment section.
Yeah.
If you're watching this video later, we can always discuss it later too.
Oh yeah.
I do my best to answer every comment on any of our videos. If we get too big, I probably won't be able to do that anymore. But that's a good problem to have.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah. We'll hire staff for that.
That's right. Should we find somebody to raid?
I think we should. I think that is an excellent idea.
PG is still on.
Oh, nice.
But for help.
iTrey is on.
Bubble is on.
What's this? Beam?
Carmen is on.
Blake Wrath is on.
We got a lot of people.
Oh,
Yeah. Meat Canyon is on.
Well, who do you think we should do? A-Tray, TG. Flake of Wrath is playing Minecraft. Spider Dude 97 is playing Marvel Rivals. Oh,
Who's
Bubble
this
is playing.
SK Beam?
That was somebody
Yes.
that Sarah had us
Ah, okay.
watch one day.
not that one channel, but not the kid-friendly channel.
Well, how about A-Tray then?
Yeah,
Let's
it's
do
the
it.
A-Train.
Okay. For those
She's
of
always
you,
been.
on YouTube wondering what a raid is on Twitch, you can take all of your viewers, send them to another content creator that you like, and it's called a raid. And that way, you spread the love. We like somebody, we send our viewers to watch somebody else, and hopefully they'll like them too. But obviously, you guys will not get that because you're on YouTube, but that's okay, because we will be back Thursday night talking episode 4 of the Skeleton Crew, hopefully Superman trailer if it does get released, like all the reports coming out. And then we'll be back Sunday for Creature Commandos episode 4. We got a lot going on. And we'd love for you all to join us, join the chat, join the conversation, because we always appreciate it. But we are about to raid A-Tray, if it'll let us. And we can, for a while. Remember, she was blocking raids
that's
for a bit.
right. Mm-hmm.
That's good. We'll raid her. Make sure you guys come back. We appreciate it. If it's your first time in the channel, please throw us a subscription. Subscribe to the channel, like, comment, all the things that help our channel out tremendously and are free to you. So we definitely appreciate it. And anything else, gentlemen, you can think of?
No, I think you covered it all.
We'll go to the outro. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.